Reflections. It started on a Wednesday in the bedroom. A tiny flicker, barely noticeable, surely a trick of the light. Rachel dismissed it, blaming it on too much coffee or another late night. Little by little, they gained energy. Rachel saw small shocks of colour appearing alongside her reflection as she ran straighteners through her hair and swiped blusher on her cheeks to add a dash of pink to her pale complexion. She took down the bedroom mirror and adjusted to the return of a curl in her hair and a more natural look. Things returned to normal, for a while. But they were not done. Over time, they began showing up, in the hallway and the bedroom too. The colours sharpened and blurred, sharpened and blurred. Rachel could almost make out the shape of a person, an echo of someone beyond her own image. Although she considered it madness, she replaced the mirror in the hallway with a contemporary print. She could still see the outline where she took down the one in the bathroom. Paranoia bubbled inside her. Rachel felt she was always looking, searching, wondering where they might next appear. She didn't have to wait long. Maggie was the first. Rachel knew it would be Maggie. She began to appear every day. Rachel would catch sight of her as she glanced in her car mirror to pull away, and once as she went to step over a puddle, Maggie's face glimmered in the reflection of a streetlight, breaking up, deforming and reforming in the ripples caused by a stranger's shoe. Maggie's long brown hair fell over one side of her face, covering the worst of her injuries, although the black bruising around her neck was still visible. Ryan was another who regularly turned up, the toxic needle still sticking out from his arm, just like the moment Rachel saw him for the first time. His face in death was ghostly white, eyes sunken, questioning. Rachel felt the weight of their stares and their pain. Over the last year, she tried to piece together their final moments, trying to do the same with more recent victims too, but she couldn't solve them all. But Maggie wouldn't go away, demanding action. Death, an unwanted matchmaker, had flung them together in this relationship, and now Maggie had found someone who cared she wasn't breaking up anytime soon. There hadn't been anyone who cared about Maggie when she was alive, as Rachel found out. When delivering the news of her daughter's murder, Maggie's mother shrugged her shoulders, wanted Rachel gone as quickly as possible so she could return to the comfort of a bottle. She preferred company in the form of cheap white wine rather than that of her daughter. Even the funeral was a solitary affair. Rachel turned up, but the numbers were small, and the service was over before it began. With no one there to give the eulogy, the vicar said a few words, but they could have summed up anyone's life. Maggie was 22 and hadn't lived. What was there to say? Rachel began to feel as if she was a part of them and they a part of her. Even before they'd started showing up like this, they'd taken pieces of her. Matt had left when there wasn't room for him. All he'd wanted was a little time, some attention, and a little of the headspace Rachel devoted to the likes of Maggie and Ryan. But she'd not been able to spare it. There simply wasn't enough left over. Eventually, Rachel rehung the mirrors in her house. It was no good. The ghosts of the dead found a way to get through. She slowly embraced living with them every day, just a reflection away, always there on the peripheral, waiting for her to rescue them.